No, I'm talking to the Attorney General of the state of Florida. I'm showing you this so that I can tell her that's.
But I would like to, how I would
And
like
I'm saying, this is our program. I'm not your brother, I'm your board member. Okay?
Well, this is getting real weird over here.
show each one of us just like you just try to do
And what I'm saying is the sole focus on me is discrimination.
I don't have that as part of the business that I'm trying to do as a board.
And I'm the senior most person on the board, and I'm saying, even with prior administration from Juan Chavez to today, no one has ever had police here or single out as such as I am.
I ain't over
And what's it for? I mean, I'm a public school teacher. What was it for? What's the explanation? What's the rationale?
Issue. In this conversation, that sideline. Priority is not me. You. Just the it's a simple thing. It's short stuff.
Right.
And what public teacher, you don't have to. So here it is. You can show them.
I mean, I tell you.
So this puts us in a position as board people to be able to engage what happened.
Okay.
And I have not been given anything that says you meet the qualification. That's all we're asking for.
Wow.
That's what, and that's just not even from you should be prepared. I'm going to say to them, Brother Coach, we previous meeting. I would like for them to now reduce.
And I would like for the initiative to produce the rationale. No, that is complex, but not necessarily distracting.
That's distracted for the primary issue for me.
Why is that such an issue? I'm not sure it's Black Power Rising. It comes on every Sunday. In that documentation, the public knows me. They see me at the gas station.
As a board member.
As a producer and a board member and an executive.
Don't know you. Never met you.
Never seen my show.
Never seen your show. I am interested in simply verifying that Terry lives in Atlanta, thus meets the qualifications to be a board member. And if that is produced, then I will position to be able to resolve what needs to be done for you as an eligible person.
Greetings, everybody.
Hello, good evening.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
You all right?
All right.
That's good.
That's, I'm simple. I'm not complicated. Because number one, they take care of that. Number two,
I'm simple too.
in the season, one principal, one ethical.
Well, I heard, we had, Dick Gregory on our show down at the, Texas Lions practice. Al Sharpton's attorney, Alton Davis, spoke, and, some people, you listen to them, and it doesn't resonate. He said that we need more than anything else a sense of ethical understanding. I'm like, what is you talking about? So I took a course in ethics and, looked into various parameters of what's ethical, what's unethical, what's right, good for the creative career.
I'm passing out hugs. I'm going on. Thinking that I'm
No, I guess I left them.
What you say, do they need help?
hug circle.
Oh, wow. It seemed like you need one.
Need a hug circle. Anybody need a hug? I need a hug.
Okay.
I'd like to be the first one to sign up to speak.
It should be a sign-up sheet around your phone. It's a clipboard. No, it's on clipboard. It's out here. Yeah. Where are you?
Nice, here's some glasses.
We're gonna have to discuss that real code as such, and I will address it on my phone. Dr. Wilson, I would say,
Don't appear to be set up to take any.
oh, turn the power on.
Yeah, I needed the power. That's the only power source.
It works. That's such a,
That's the only power source that works.
it was on.
Nah, I needed the power.
Oh, you need it, you unplugged it.
Yeah,
I see.
all the rest of the power outlets don't work.
With the fuse or something.
Probably.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Excuse me?
You got another shift. You the cat go.
So, what's 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
There we go. Got the revenue at the front row. I'm getting nervous already. Come to your church. Sit on the front row, take notes.
like they set up to take public comment today.
Yeah, they said they had more to sign in on.
Where's the mic?
Where's the sign?
That's what they said they have. You need that mic. You know, I think they've been using the, what's that? The day we had to meet, we was using the, what we call the mic. It picked up. What was that day was over there? Saturday? You said something?
I was in Monday.
Yeah, Saturday they used the, that mic there. It picked up.
Today is Wednesday.
Nice car out there.
Called my name is Ryan. I can barely see my broke my glasses, so I got to bear with me. And the shoulder killing me, my Levi's with me. It's just a matter of days, huh? You got the dinner? Huh? You got the dinner? I got this right here. I forgot the clipboard.
Doing all right?
James.
Say what? In the what? Healthcare.
It looks like one of those,
Around your neck.
Jeez. Gotta say cool.
I was telling that, I was telling somebody else that.
Yeah.
I say, cool.
Good. How are you?
I just feel like I'm gonna get a clipboard.
Very easy.
I already got messed up by that. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Ma'am. Okay, great. He said he's on the way, he's just running late, so. Well, if you want to take care of the business, we'll get rid of
Just to start, no, we don't have no motions on the end.
it. Let somebody make one. That's good, yeah.
Did he say?
No, I haven't.
He said he's gonna send them.
Yeah.
Let me go check. He sent it to that other email address. I keep forgetting it. Let me go check. That's what I'm getting ready to check. I forgot he sent it to that other email address. Pastor Winston. We're gonna open up with a prayer.
That's good.
Yeah, you see,
I got my favorite
Free speech form.
spokesperson for that too. Tell
That's sign-in sheet?
Yes. That's a opportunity.
And this gonna be the public comment also?
Yes, it's a mark, place on there, check.
Check it on the end.
Check it on the end. Hey, put a check next to me, okay?
good evening. Welcome to once again the
Make sure John is recording.
You don't have a quorum anyway.
John, you recording? Okay, good. Go ahead, Doc.
good evening. Welcome to our Wednesday night edition of the Board of Directors of PTV. My name is Johnny Wilson. I am your chairman for this evening. I want to thank everybody who have given opinions, and comments, and suggestions over the phone, over the internet, as to where we go from here, including those folks who call on a regular basis with tips and suggestions on how to move the station forward. Those were invaluable tips, invaluable suggestions. I even like those that brought examples on paper and showed me where we want to go. In accordance with the rules of the bylaw, I'm asking Mother Moore to call the roll for the board.
The present officers are myself, Mother Mamie Moore, Mother Judy Cotton, and Dr. Wilson. We do not, Mr. Chairman, have a quorum. Recommend that we move ahead with business, holding off on any formal decision until that occurs.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Move on.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Can we get the lights?
Let me ask one of my recently discovered
See the lights flickering?
excellent minister that I met this Saturday. I didn't even know you were a minister. Asked him if he would come give us a blessing or prayer for this evening. Bishop?
You didn't promote him to the bishop.
That's my man. Now.
This not gonna go far. Me by taking that Mother Morris, what's on the end.
That's my man now.
Lord, we do thank you for all things. All things, dear Father. We ask, dear Father, that you give us like minds and like hearts, that we will accomplish the business that we have come here to accomplish today on one accord, that we would move quickly and exponentially across the grounds that we need to cover, that people's TV will become healthy and sustainable, and it will accomplish all that it needs to accomplish in our community and in our region. And we ask all these things in our Lord and Savior Jesus' name. Amen,
Amen.
amen, and amen.
Becoming very clear, I'm going to get the church ready soon. I need to watch out for my district. Following the agenda as printed, we will move forward to the minutes. Is there a motion regarding the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, since we don't have a quorum, I just suggest that we
Can't vote.
bypass that agenda item and go to the next one and we proceed with covering the business so we can go back and make formal decisions once we do.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. And accordingly, we move over to the old business. As printed, meet with Ms. Lenise Harris, Channel 26 Director. In that discussion with Ms. Harris, we've had a wide range of individuals that have come to the table, and their discussion is, let's move the station toward the 21st century. We have spent untold number of hours in trying to decipher her message to the city council as to what we should do and how we should do it. We can't do it alone. Nobody up here is a independent source of knowledge that we can tap and say this is going to be the sole source. As my statement was made on Saturday, I can't do this without you. Your ideas collectively are part of my ideas. Some of the discussion points you will hear this evening will reflect on what happened on Saturday. And by the way, I was glad to meet some of you who expressed their views about where we need to go and what we need to do. You had criticism, you had comments, you had statements. I loved it. Your practical suggestions about how the station should move forward, wonderful. We have committees that we have designated for people to serve on. If you want to do. You want to get engaged, get engaged. The door is wide open. There are issues of concern that have been over the past number of years here. They're going to continue to be there. But I'm saying with your help and with our commitment, we can work through these. As the agenda indicates, Judge Bowden, who was a long-time buddy and friend of mine, decided that he wanted to do some other things. I spoke to him today. I've known Judge Bowden for a long time. We still engaged, and he decided to step down from the board. And but we still talk on a regular basis about procedures and rules and regulation. He has offered me his assistance and help on things I don't know about, things I need to know, interpretation of some things, how should we go about raising funds, what rules and procedures involving the open record request that I still am trying to decipher. But I wrote on a note today saying, quote, "Gonna miss you." We've gone back and participated in a lot of programs over the years, so that's one of my issues. We become very close to individuals over the years, and they leave. They call this a board, but I'm sure there'll be some others that will come forward and step up and fill that void. Now, the highlighted 3 areas that the city wants us to focus on in this remodernization or redevelopment is the relocation issue. They would basically want us to find a building, find a location, come to terms with, are we going to stay here, or are we going to go? What types of real estate are available out there? What types of buildings, landscape, what's the cost? What's the square footage? Will this new location meet the expectations of the station needs today? Will these buildings come under the compliance with ADA? All those are uncertainties at the moment. And so we have formed a real estate committee, and we had a very good discussion last night on the real estate committee. We strongly encourage anybody that got an interest who have these levels of expertise to join the real estate committee and tell us what we need to do. If it's this building, if it needs to be expanding, if it's another building that you have, let us know. But we have to get an answer as to what is the building process about. This is a mandate coming from the city. The need assessment in terms of staffing, hiring, in terms of programming, all of those things are open at the moment. We're looking to assist from the top to bottom, including budget, financing, resource development. We want to reassess the training and the curriculum this year. Can we take what is in the film industry, in which they train individuals on staging? Can we take that curriculum that's currently being used to recruit people for the labor force and marry it with what we're doing? Or there's some other kind of approaches that we need to pay attention to in terms of this assessment about the training here. It's edited and film is just one market. Should we continue to expand it and look at other areas of training? And we have formed a committee to try to address those concerns. And then we will have a report shortly on paper for you to read what that decision is. But we've got to get into this area. There is a marketing and a business plan being developed, excuse me, to let you know what we will try to do in the market to promote the station's needs and interests. We need a business plan and we need a marketing plan. There are better ideas on how to track investments, to improve our services and delivery in terms of what we're doing. We were very open to that. The technology with the camera, the telephone, the station, all this is being looked at the moment. And we're bringing in as many of the producers to let us know their tips and ideas or suggestions on what we should go. I'm saying that these various committees that are tied to the board and the Producer Association, we need to have a conversation on regular as to how we can move the station forward. Any comments from the board?
I don't have any though. Just did part of my report though.
Okay.
No comment?
No comment? We're waiting on the treasurer. He's en route to do a financial budget report that Freddie in accordance with the outline adjournment.
Yeah. That's on the lights.
General manager.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a point of procedure, Mr. Chairman, and we can return to the President's report. We have not dealt with the agenda item relative to Brother Chair Thomas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. How should we proceed, parliamentary?
Just a vote.
As we had discussed previously, that the board had not been provided with verification that Brother Terry was a resident of Atlanta and therefore was not eligible to be a board member. I'd like to report, Mr. Chairman, that upon my arrival here at the station this evening, you all gotta remind me about these mics. Okay, y'all gotta help me a little bit. I'd like to report to the board and to the audience that is here that upon my arrival this evening to the station, Brother Terry approached me to have a discussion about the situation and advised me that he has documentation that validates that he has an Atlanta residence. And I said to him that I would raise with you all that we would provide him with an opportunity to come forward and provide that documentation for us to see, so that that need for the board in terms of qualification for board membership is met. And so if the board is open to that, I would like to request that we receive that kind of validation from Brother Terry.
Is that a motion?
There's no motions.
Mr. Chairman, we're not in a position, we don't have a forum to be able to do that, but we can proceed with this business and handle it so we can come back once we are in a position to do that.
Any more conversation without Mr. Thomas? Just speak up the mic.
Well, I don't, since we cannot vote for quorum, I just agree with what was said, that he should have an opportunity to present his case.
And the reason?
I am not clear myself on the issue of residency and requirement, so I would need some additional information as well to be assured of the legitimacy of his removal. So in that regard, I also suggest that he be allowed to present his evidence. And hopefully as a part of that and the conversation, that I'll become clearer myself on this issue.
Anybody else got a comment?
We don't have a mic yet.
Just the three of y'all.
Anybody
Boom
else?
mic is not picking up. You picked it up, so.
Well,
Mic, the mic.
what do you say?
I don't know, but they can use this mic if they want to talk or something. We're talking to Terry anyway.
Okay, the mic Dr. Wilson has right there. Let me have the mic right there.
You can use this one.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a clarity for our situation. What I agree to with Mr. Terry is the issue at play here is he a resident of Atlanta? And he said he has documentation, and I said I would definitely speak to us seeing that. So that's what that's the only thing that we need, is to see if he's going to show us that he has evidence that he has an Atlanta address.
Form that you gave me, that I emailed to you, that you acknowledge. This is my driver's license. It corresponds to the address on that form. This is my PhD Clark at Atlanta University identification, which corresponds to my driver's license, bank, everybody accepts that.
Okay, all right, sis.
Can we see that?
Get us another one.
What the board has been privy to is a piece of correspondence that was mailed to Brother Terry at the address on his driver's license, which returned to us. He does not, his comment to me was, I cannot account for how the post office would have returned it. The driver's license is evidence of an address that's in Atlanta, Mr. Chairman. And I think that the critical issue for us is there a document that validates an address of where his residence is?
Given that we have a lack of a quorum and the situation that needs to be resolved, because Mother Moore is the parliamentarian, I move that that Mr. Thomas and the parliamentarian get together and that she give us a recommendation in regard to the situation. And I will accept the recommendation upon the parliamentarian.
Mr. Chairman, in my 80 years, I have not played FBI. If somebody produced a document to me that says that they live somewhere, I expect that person to be operating with integrity and principles. It's a driver's license, it has the address on there. I can't account for why the post office returned the letter either. But what I have been looking for is proof that this man lives in Atlanta. The only other option you have, fellow board members, is if you want to get another piece of evidence for that. So I think that the critical question is what we have resolved at this point, in my humble opinion, is that this person has provided us, Brother Terry has provided us with a driver's license that is valid, that says he lives within Atlanta.
Microphone.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
when I first came onto the board, Mr. Thomas was functioning as the vice president of the board, and was working toward the overall goals that we had all set for the revitalization, if you will, of People TV. I would like to understand how and why is it, beyond a return piece of mail, that his eligibility in terms of residency would be questioned. I'm not clear on that. So I would definitely like some additional insight.
She didn't like that, huh?
In reference to board procedure, are we a investigative body to investigate the legitimacy of a board member's address, or when and how does such a thing come into question? Somebody help me with that, please.
Well, we have jurisdiction to,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
yes, ma'am.
What I explained, since this is a matter that is where it is because I have requested that he come forth and show this. What I said to him is, let us resolve your validation with us as a board that you are indeed a resident of Atlanta. If that is resolved, if we can accept that's a legitimate driver's license, then the next step is for us as a board to set the discussion, not here, but to set the next step with a discussion of what is the dynamics of the situation that we found ourselves in this relationship with Brother Terry. So all I committed to with Brother Terry was we want to see validation, because that is what our correspondence to him says. Show us proof that you live in Atlanta. And he has come forth, he's shown us a driver's license that has that address. So as a parliamentarian, my recommendation, when we have a quorum to decide on this, is that we then, go in the next meeting to determine, how we resolve the situation that we're in with the board member.
Microphone, Doc.
May I say something?
1 second. Any more discussion?
I thought we had decided to do a utility bill or something.
Brother Terry, You and I discussed
She the
it,
GM
you
or the-
know, if you had something to say, you would say it during the public portion. This is not a debate, you and I agreed that what would happen here.
I'll do it, but,
Thank you.
What you say? Nothing. Nothing.
They don't have
So-
a turn, and that automatically puts a member off the board with no policy.
Mr. Chairman, can we take a 5-minute break?
There's no policy on that.
It's not in the bylaw.
Yes, can we take a break for 5 minutes, and I would like to see Mr. Thomas. We'll have a break for 5 minutes. Where you wanna go?
No, they got their mics up. This a public meeting. Yeah, you going
Y'all got all that complicated, yes, sir. We can go to the next room.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be an illegal meeting.
The mics are muted and we're in black. Y'all want to break for 5 minutes?
No, their mics aren't muted.
Okay,
Yeah, we can go in the next room.
okay.
And under Robert's rules, my brother, breaks are allowed.
Not breaks to go into executive session.
You don't have a quorum.
This is not an executive session, this is a break for us to be able to discuss how we proceed.
I mean, this is a public organization, so you should be able to discuss it all in public. It's not personnel, it's not real estate.
But Robert's rules allows the board to be able to call for a break. Y'all can stay here, y'all can leave, y'all can come.
That's a break, not a meeting.
Let me try to resolve.
Y'all, you just said you were gonna go have a meeting. That's an executive session.
Come on, man, come on. You all right? See, anything about going around?
Excuse me,
Uh,
stay right here, brother. I don't care.
But they got their mics on.
You should be in public anyway.
Should we be moving forward?
Piss me off, Cal, the treasurer.
Robert's Rule of Order does not trump Georgia sunshine law.
Read a statement.
I thought we decided on a utility bill or current rent receipt or something.
Is that in the bylaws, Terry?
I mean, we can always keep a license with the same address on it if we're gonna go and change it.
I didn't want to break to discuss that. I just
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to
I see.
see what we're gonna do.
Okay. President?
My thing is that we need to move past this.
Yeah, the table.
There's too many more important things to worry about. The certification.
It was open.
Certification for eligibility to need a driver's license and utility bills.
You can't make any decisions if you want to go forward. I just want to break this up. We don't make them right now. So that ain't no decision.
Okay. I'll make that announcement.
So my take was to determine where we are in terms of the person coming, so we have a quorum.
So we'll table the recommendation that you made until we have a quorum. So I believe we need to go ahead and just move to our reinstatement and go on.
So you want to continue with the agenda as it is?
Yeah, because,
to know whether or not he's coming.
We can't be doing stuff like we did in the past. Gotta move forward. We'll never get where we need to go if we got to worry about this stuff. But like at the quorum, you can't vote.
That's what I'm.
All we can do is make I will make a motion.
And see if there's any person coming.
Yeah, I just did. What I do?
So I'll make the motion. I make the motion to table.
You can't even do that. We don't have. We're certainly having a discussion on the business items in order to be able to move forward to the board.
How you want to proceed?
Let's see what's first down, where's Calvin?
I mean, besides that, besides him, how you want to proceed?
We keep going down our agenda and discussing our business.
I would agree to move issues require a vote further down on the agenda, and only address those issues that does not require a vote at this time. And then when our brother shows up, then we can then address those issues. I think that's the only thing we can do.
Okay. I support that.
No, not yet.
What,
Turn our mics back on,
we back
please.
on? Isn't that pour the water, is it?
Not for you, Doc. You tell me his license. You gave his license. Okay.
If we're gonna move
Mike's
forward,
on?
Not yet.
Mike's on there, no.
Shut that was telling me.
Mike.
okay, back on?
Mike's back on.
Okay. It has been agreed upon by the board because we have lack of a quorum. If we would move this issue down toward the end, my position is to go ahead and move where we need to move to resolve this issue so we can get on about the business, what we're supposed to be getting on about. Can't be going back to this stuff. We got too much coming at us. So, don't you go nowhere. Stick around. Anything with the, that's the only reason what precludes us, because we don't have another quorum. Otherwise, we would dispose just like now. General Manager, anything we left out in your report?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
On the tax report, the taxes were done and are available for public viewing. We have visited, I myself and the real estate agent, 8 properties. We've narrowed it down to 3. We're getting the specs together to present to the city. Our budget will be in the business plan and the needs assessment that we are working on. I'm working with Ms. Patrice Dixon of a marketing firm that we hired. We had 3 members to take the oath today at the city, and I turned in emailed their proof of residency. Also, to update the equipment list will be in that business plan that we're going to present to the city by August the 1st. I have spoken with Ms. Harris and letting her know that we will also be seeking a new contract. We talked with Pastor Winston, where did he go? Regarding a satellite office, and we have definitely said that is something that down the line that we will be looking into, and we have a project slated for October the 6th with Hands on Atlanta. As far as the business, okay, that's the end of my report.
New business? New business?
We've got a prospective board member, Valencia Goodman, but she just texted me and told me she had just started a new job today, so she wasn't able to make it today, so we can table that till next time. But I did have the producers meeting. We have listed here the different committees that were established, and anybody that would like to join those or the other ones that we have available, like Dr. Wilson said, please feel free to help out, join a committee. I will also be posting them on the website too, so if you want to do it later. And I think that's it now. Open comment.
Could you say something more about the Martin Luther King Washington High Cluster satellites?
That's what I thought Pastor Winston was going to be here to tell us, to give us the details. I went over and looked at that piece of property over on 960, that's right, Mother Mo?
Yes.
960 ML King. It's a nice spot for for us to partner with Washington High School to teach the young people what we do, giving them the skills and to the camera class and the location class. And it's right there. It's not even a block away from the school. It's close to the belt line. It's an excellent spot. And the amenities too, where he's got retail downstairs, and we'll be upstairs, like I said, with the satellite. And it's, what else you want to know?
It will be working in conjunction, partnership with the real estate committee.
Yes, yes. We did have a real estate committee. Did we have real estate? Nope. No one didn't sign up to real. Yes, we did. We did have someone on the real estate committee. So yes, yes. That's the next step is getting the real estate committee to go over and look at it, and we're going to start, and proceed from there.
Okay.
And that'll be something I'll be putting into that business plan with that goes to the city also.
I got a question for Mother Moore.
You have to say 10 minutes.
Given you are an excellent parliamentarian and you keep me on track, it is appropriate at this time, given that we don't have a quorum, to ask this question: who is the president of the Producer Association?
Mr. Chairman, when we were preparing for this meeting, we agreed that we would want to have that conversation with our producers this evening. So I suggest we continue on with our agenda in terms of the information that we wanted to bring forth from this meeting.
Right. We raised this because we want
Microphone.
to elevate the status, whereby there are joint partnership between the board and the Producer Association, which will be institutionalized within the contract and within the People TV's association. It can't continue to have a top-down approach to management. It has to be a diversified, decentralized process in which everybody is engaged today. And some of you will probably see old and familiar faces that will get engaged with the process. Others will see people that I have been in contact with in recent days in regards to the program. I had excellent conversation with a young man who's in a wheelchair about discussion about what is the American Disability Act, how does it affect people in the city of Atlanta. Had a discussion on Saturday with somebody saying that there's a need of this for a senior citizen show to help them learn about the name of the city council person, whom should they call in terms of human resources, what types of numbers they need to be available for, how can we afford the opportunity to talk with them. This came about because in early my time here, I helped individuals do their property assessments free of charge. And we're getting a lot of calls from senior citizens who have issues with how do you make property tax appeal. And so we felt like there was a need to put some kind of show program in place where senior citizens can get information on a regular basis here. There are a lot of crises. People call the station and they are looking for help. And we've been at the forefront. Just recently, I have done the appeal for some folks who was recently filed at the county tax office, free of charge. So we're saying that we have competent skills to do these things. We want to make sure we institutionalize through these types of programs. We have very few new shows on the station. I'm begging the producers and Producer Association, come up with ideas. Come at us for what you think should be those programs. And hoping to meet the ideas and suggestions of the city that they want this station to be comprehensive enough whereby we can look at public access in a way that meets the 21st century model. We'll be forming a committee for people to take a journey or a trip to look at other public access stations and come up with for a model approach that we can use here. But we are soliciting on a daily basis what we need to do these things. I'm just saying over and over again, it should not be a top-down approach. I recognize there are a lot of issues that people have, long issues with people. Might be on the board, might be associated with the organization. I'm saying, come talk to us. Let's see if we can restore or work with you around those things. The only difficult thing, I would tell you, if I can take a moment of pleasure, is in spite of all the hard work I have done over the years, I taught 21 years at an undergraduate institution, got my doctorate degree. I just spent the past 9 years on a lawsuit that I won all the way to the Supreme Court. In spite of all this hard work and other stuff I'm doing, I go home and there are death threats. Telling me don't come here. Telling me I better not show up today. Telling me I got till 12 o'clock today or give up this seat. Others are saying, we're watching you. Now, for 9 years straight, going from a trial court to a Supreme Court, out of all that stuff, traveling from here to South Georgia, other places working with folks, I never had that. I don't get paid for this position. And all the years I have taught, 21, 22 years, teaching at this university, I got more people that got law degrees in the city and the state of Georgia to say that they're gonna kill me for being in this position. That hurt.
And what position is that?
So what?
And what position are you referring to?
The email that came talked about, I had until 12 o'clock to vacate this position was disturbing. I don't spend time writing these kind of statements. In the past 3 weeks, my daughter's had major surgery. I've been up and down at the hospital with that. If you want to continue to write that stuff, keep writing it. If you want to keep saying your free speech, go ahead. Don't bother me. Like I'm going to South Georgia pretty soon on some stuff that I got to help some folks out in the community. All I'm saying that channel your issues in a way that you can move what talents and skills you got toward that area. There are all kind of committees sitting up here that you can get engaged in. You don't like what's being shown on the program? Bring me a plan and play, and that's what we can do. If you say that the programs are too stale, there's not enough, come talk. Let's see what we can do. If you say there's the issue with the station not being open on Saturday and Sunday, or there's some weekend issues, well, let's get with the producer association, see can we work on that. But to sit there and say that the doors, opportunities are not there, but that's disturbing. I've been down at the solicitor office with some folks, dealing with code enforcement. Some of you have been with me. Some of us have walked that walk. But I take that personal privilege because these comments and statements are unnecessary. They got my interest, but they didn't get my attention. Because I'm moving forward. I am moving forward and doing some other things.
Dr. Wilson, I wanted to make an amendment to my report also. I forgot to let people know, let you know that we have 3 interns from the Georgia Work Source that are working with us, and 2 in production and 1 as administrative assistants. And they are working out excellent.
Any more comments?
Use your mic.
Personal privilege.
I'd like to make a few comments in reference to the availability of support on these committees. It has been very clear to me that on coming onto the board, that board members have basically represented community service advocates. I have been somewhat amazed by the politics that's involved in working on the board. However, I've seen a genuine effort of the board to open up opportunities for additional insight, understanding that although board members bring a variety of expertise to the board, that the board alone cannot facilitate the function that is required to provide public access to the general community. And so by making available to all the community, the committees, marketing committee, finance committee, programming and education committee, real estate committee, operations committee, fundraising committee, advocacy committee, seems to provide a place for anyone who is generally concerned about the overall goal of maintaining and providing public access to People TV. It is again, and I stress, our hopes that those who have ideas on how we can move forward would freely join these committees and provide their insight so that through these committees and the board support, we can provide the services that we intend to as it relates to public access TV.
Nothing more?
No, I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Joining us is our treasurer. Joining us our treasurer, Calvin. Thanks for joining us this evening. We return to the agenda for a comment from Mr. Kelly.
Well, I just wanted to say that, number one, let me apologize for my delay tonight.
The mic.
He got it.
Okay.
I just want to apologize for my delay tonight. I want to say that we are in the process of finalizing a dashboard, financial dashboard, which we will report on monthly at every meeting, and then another dashboard that we'll report on quarterly as we are in the process of putting systems in place to provide better financial controls.
Anything else?
It's not a poll.
Not at this time.
Okay. Need this?
They didn't hear?
This?
I hear something now. Okay, go ahead, now you gotta say it again.
Okay. I just want,
Can you go back out?
You go back out? No.
you're good. I just want to say that we are in the process of putting.
Can you out?
Here, we'll use this one.
We are in the process of putting together a dashboard that we can provide at our monthly meetings of financial information, as well as a quarterly dashboard of financial information that we will be reporting on the financial metrics and health of the organization as we proceed to put in place the necessary systems and controls to better monitor and manage our financial position.
Does that include a financial forensic report, an analysis of the budget, what money we have what debt we have?
You all right?
Yes, that will definitely include those items, as well as, as we finalize our budget, which will include our audit, which will give us a proper starting point, so that we can, from that point forward, be able to accurately monitor where we are, and also provide us in the management letter recommendations for strengthening our financial controls.
What do you see as our financial strength and weaknesses at this moment?
We have, from the standpoint of our financial strength, we are a going concern, which means that we do have a track record of doing business. We have a track record with our landlord, we have a track record with some of our vendors, so we do have a financial history, and that is a plus. And as we go forward to engage other vendors and other service providers, we can say that we have been a going concern for over 20 to 30 years, and that's a plus. Our financial weaknesses are that we, at this time, are seeking to once again have a contract with the City of Atlanta, which indicates to our service providers, to our landlord, potential landlords in the future, or others, that we will continue to be a going concern, and that there is an assurance that we will be able to continue to meet our obligations. It also provides confidence to potential donors, sponsors, partners, and other funding sources that we will, be viable and available to provide the services that we provide in the future. So having a contract, I think, is one of the biggest challenges at this time.
What would the forensic report tell us?
I think if we ask our auditors to go deeper than just the usual audit and provide some forensics in any particular areas, it would reveal to us, where we need some additional help, where we need shoring up, the kind of controls that we need to have in place, the kind of systems that we need to implement that would give us, would bring us to best practice.
What's your rough estimate for the fiscal year budget for this year?
We have not finalized that as of yet. As I recommended in our last meeting, I think that the board needs to, it's a participatory process, so that we all can look at, the expenditures. We can look at the anticipated revenues and the sources of revenues, and that we can all agree that, because the budget is like a roadmap, and it's something that we all need to be in agreement on, that this is the direction that we want to go. And when we present it to others, the cities and potential donors, it needs to be a document that we all understand and that we all agree upon.
And we anticipate that budget to be when?
We should have a working document by the 1st of August, and we'll be working on that between now and then.
Any comments or questions of the treasurer? Mr. Moore?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we receive the report from the treasurer.
Any further discussion?
Need a second, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes received. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
Still don't have a quorum.
Don't answer. Is it working? Yeah, I can hear it.
So,
I hear it. Where's the sign-up sheet?
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum. From the procedures, we go back and we handle the business that needs to require board action.
Please call our attention now to what items you want us to address.
We have to the minutes. I move that, in the absence of the minutes, that they be tabled for the next meeting, minutes of June 20.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
So move. Parliamentary?
The next item of the business, Mr. Chairman, is the President's report, the status of Secretary Thomas.
Okay. Parliamentary?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table this for a decision on the basis of, I move that we table this decision on the basis of Mr. Terry producing a driver's license that shows an address that he lives in Atlanta, to allow us some more time to be able to, as a board, reach a commonality of agreement on how we want to proceed.
Any more discussions? Any hesitation or reservation about the motion? You state your motion again, please.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of a second, it's gonna die if nobody don't second it.
You don't have a quorum.
Is there a second to the parliamentary motion?
You're supposed to have 5 for a quorum. Minimum.
It's been properly seconded. All those in favor, let them know by aye.
discussion?
Discussion.
Any discussion?
It's illegal.
Yes, I'd like to have some discussion. In my opinion, we should at this time, in that evidence has been provided, that we should rescind any decision that was made that indicated that because of residency, that the vice president was removed from the board, and that evidence has been provided of residency. And then, if we need to have further discussion at another time, that he would also be a part of that discussion.
Okay, I apologize. If evidence has been submitted in that regard, then that is something I guess we should discuss. I believe we should discuss as a board together going forward.
Parliamentary, what's your opinion, comment?
Mr. Chairman, I made the motion that we table this discussion for further deliberation in light of the fact that Mr. Terry provided a driver's license, which was the proof of evidence of residency.
And when do you recommend we take this matter up again?
I think that we should provide a decision at the next board meeting. And in the interim, it provides us with time to be able to discuss the situation in terms of residency and what we need to do to be able to reach a calm, if you would, decision about it.
Any more discussion? Hesitation, reservation, comments? Following the suggestion and the comment of the parliamentarian, I move that we accept their comment, and I'm ready to vote on her motion.
Second, even though you don't have a quorum.
Yeah, I vote yes.
All those in favor, they better know by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, Sam. Parliamentarian?
Still don't have a quorum anyway. You don't have
Mr. Chairman, you ready for the
Yes.
I think that's what's going to
We've reached the agenda portion. For the public portion, we have Pastor Winston Taylor. Is the mic? Where's
Yeah, here it is, right here.
Excuse me.
You can put it on the stand right there for me, Pastor. That stand right there. Thank you. I don't know where John, I guess John want it right there. Turn it around to you so you can speak. You first on the list of public comment.
Oh, okay. And I'm not doing satellite?
Turn it towards the camera, sir. That camera over there. That camera on the curtain.
Okay, you good.
Okay.
You good.
Again, I just think that in all that we do, we need to be mindful that we need to go in a oneness wherever we go. Things are not going to just be fixed overnight. We're going to have to be patient with one another because we all do have different views, we do have different opinions. But right now, with where we are, it's not a time to lose patience with one another, but to be patient with one another. And to, which patience will allow us to move through this process a lot swifter than being impatient with one another. There's a lot of great things with People TV as it is with other organizations, and there are some things that we got to work on. And that's with any organization that you're a part of. So my thing is, I'm here to help however I can with the real estate piece. I've signed up for the piece to be volunteer to help with the real estate. However I can help. I was here Saturday, we talked about some things around the satellite locations, because people can get excited about satellite locations because they're in their particular areas, and many of you work in areas that are very specific to certain things, that are very specific to your area. Doc here works particularly in the arts and those types of things there, and so for us to be able to work in areas, or put a satellite area that particularly deals with arts and those things, would bring a lot of interaction and a lot of support from other industries into People TV. And so I encourage us to open our eyes and open our heart, and that we be able to grow and see other opportunities, because as we know, when we look at grants and different things, there are a lot of opportunities out there, but we have to open ourselves up and see how they will then work with where we're going and what we're doing. Thank you.
Brother Terry Thomas.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Byron what's happening. Why, Ms. Creighton, was I locked out and said I issued you a threat? If you would, state that threat and what I posed. I went to the police to let them know, as I have gone to the state AG to let them know that everything you have done, with beginning with the March, what is it, May 16 meeting, 2016, is you got a problem. And your problem is you lack character and ethics. And this is my opinion.
It's not necessary.
Free speech.
It should mean so.
Free speech.
I mean,
It says 2 minutes, doesn't it?
I'm not going to say that I like what happened. I don't even know why it happened, but I understand nepotism. I understand, I know that's a hard way for you to grasp, but I understand.
Wait a minute, I'm not gonna be sitting and get insulted.
I understand as a sitting vice president, when I ask you, how could you allow someone who has just got on board to ascend? As far as the chain of command is concerned, I was next in line. And these people didn't know anything about it. Now, I say to the public, read this issue, People TV Troubles Mouth. It is written in detail about where we are and where we're going. Because, as I stated in the emails today, that is the position I'm taking. I intend to take my position as president, sir.
Father Terry?
Brother, is it Michael Campbell? Am I reading it right?
Yes, Michael Campbell.
Hey, how is everyone doing?
How are you, Brother Campbell?
I'm good, good. My name is Michael Campbell. I'm the president and CEO of Black on Purpose Television Network, which is a streaming network based out of Atlanta. We stream all over the world to about 1.5 million people every day. One of the things that, when I first came to Atlanta, one of the things that I found was wonderful about Atlanta was People TV. I came here to visit when making a decision where I was going to put my network. And I saw People TV while in visiting a friend, and they had it on cable. And I said, this is some awesome programming. I like the way it was put together. And I remember going back home and telling people in my film class how I enjoyed People TV and that they should check it out. So I'm a supporter of public television and have been a supporter of public access television for a long time. The thing that I wanted to offer was the ability, we have about 8,000 pieces of content, and we're always getting content from filmmakers. We train, we educate, and work with filmmakers in the newest technologies. One of the things I'd like to offer is the ability to have some sort of exchange where People TV's content could air on Black on Purpose television and vice versa, to give more exposure to content creators, to producers, to have a wider exposure than they currently have. One of the things that happens is people create things and then they say, now what? Because they want to get it to the next level. So I think that us working together in this way would provide that extra boost for these content creators and also provide possibly a stream of revenue for them as well, because we do pay our content creators. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Any questions? All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Paisha Hanson. Thank you, Sister Hanson.
Good evening. My name is Faisha Hassan. I am a resident of Atlanta, Fulton County. I'm a student of design and media production at Atlanta Technical College. And I've been a volunteer for People TV so long, some of my hair turned gray. But my issue is we got to stop the pettiness. We got to stop the unprofessionalness. And I say we because I'm one of the people. And I figure we're all those people. And it seems that the issues that we're having are personal. And they have nothing to do with the business of People TV. I understand everyone has free speech, everyone has an opinion. But there's ways to go about expressing those things. And we've been a very bad example. I have producers that I work with outside of here that I've been wanting to bring to People TV, but I have been embarrassed by the things that have happened here at People TV when I brought these people in, even to meetings. So, I don't know what it is. I don't know if we need to have hug circles at the beginning of every meeting. We need to have a hug circle once a week. I'm down for it. Anybody need a hug today? I'm here. Come get a hug. Come get some hugs.
You started this, I know.
I think they need a seminar and exit.
Okay, so I want to help, and I've been trying to help. And I know people think I'm a little bit younger, but I'm 44, so I've been around. And I know what's going on. I remember this station is where RuPaul started. So if it can go from just being, okay, I'm on public access to, he's got shows and movies and music and people know him. So the average person can do that too. And this is the opportunity for the average people to do that. I just feel we need to be a little bit better. We need to check our feelings and think about being professional when we come here. Not just, oh, I got something to do. I understand it's a volunteer situation. It's a volunteer situation. If you don't like it, leave. You won't have to be here. Nobody has to be here. I'm assuming that we all want to be here because there's plenty of other stuff we could be doing right now. This is Atlanta. Atlanta has everything. And people are coming. I'm watching the film industry come here and take over. And we've been here. People TV has been here 30 years, struggling. We had one board member at one point in time, and it still made it. So with more people, we got to be able to do better. And I look to the elders, I look to the folks, everybody as an example. It takes a village to raise a child. We still raising each other. So as a village, we got to do better. And I will volunteer for every committee you got. Call me. I'm on the list. Y'all got my email address. My phone number has not changed. I have never been contacted for volunteering, although I'm signed up. So we can work on that. I'm good. Anybody else need hugs? I'm here. I'm here all night. No? Okay. I'm still over here if y'all need a hug.
All right.
Brother Johnny, is it Natson or Nutson?
Nutson.
Good evening. I've been holding my tongue. I was here last board meeting last month, and I heard a lot of the same things that I'm hearing at this board meeting this month. And, I'm not here for the kumbaya. I'm sorry. You all have a responsibility. You can't put it back on the producers. You're the board. You don't have a quorum. I'm sorry. Your board, your bylaws say a minimum of 5 to conduct any business. So that is an indictment of this entire board right now. If you can't follow your own bylaws, you can't lead any of these people to do anything. You all are planning to plan every time I come to a meeting. There's no execution. I don't have any confidence in anyone here in this group that things will execute, that beyond the rhetoric that you speak, that something will transpire beyond that. I'm sorry. It's laughable, the place that we are here at this point. I'm a former employee, and I'm a current producer. Earlier, I asked for a battery so that I could power my camera. And previously to this group, it didn't matter if you were currently producing, because you can, if I produce something today, it could be on the station tomorrow. But there shouldn't, there's certain things of welcoming attitude or and it's not here. The fact that you don't have anybody in this room hardly, and I'm certain that it was probably a similar situation on Saturday. You probably had less board members than you have now present on Saturday. And I hear it seems like maybe my mic, maybe the speakers just went down, so I don't have to hear myself. But again, I don't have any confidence. I'm sorry. My former comrade, it's terrible. The lights are dark. It's dark in here. That's uninviting. It's hot in master control. That's probably why the station is in black, often weekly. In one breath you say, we're open, we're welcome. Come join a committee. And in the next breath, oh, you don't matter. You don't belong here. You can't get a battery. A battery? When I worked here, there were 3 HD cameras and probably 10 to 12 batteries. But I was told there aren't any batteries, or maybe there just weren't any batteries for me. And that's the problem.
You don't remember your boy stole
Because
the
this
camera?
is first come, first serve.
You remember your boy stole a camera?
This is first come, first serve. And you see, that's the professionalism that we talk about. That's your employee. That's the level of professionalism that people meet when they come through that back door. And until you rectify those things, there's nothing that's going to happen. You're going to keep coming back, meeting on Mondays or Saturdays or Wednesdays. You won't even follow your own bylaws. You can't do an open records request. You can't do an open records request and tell us where the money is. I'm sorry, Mr. Bismill, but we should have a report on what the financial situation of People TV is at this meeting. That's what these meetings are for. It's not for us to talk about, well, we're going to put in structures, and this is a 30-year-old organization. It's not for a lack of plans and information. It's all here. Now, if you can't access it, or if your staff can't get to it, then that's a problem. You just hired a general manager. Why can't you do an open records request? Why can't you do an audit in a timely fashion? That's an indictment on this board. One of the most senior members of the board is going through tumult about nonsense. The only people who really have to do that BAC are the appointees from the council and the mayor's office. This man was a professor at CAU. I think that's located in the city of Atlanta. So some of these things, it's time out for this is nonsense. It's a dog and pony show, and there's no one here. But if we had to raise the hands, I bet you half the room will probably agree with me that we don't have confidence in this group and what you're talking about. You keep talking about we're planning to plan. We're going to invite you into these committees. I'm sorry, that's just it. It's 2 years now. And we're worse off than we were in 2014.
What's the time?
No.
It's ridiculous.
Next.
Brother David Stokes. Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, folks. Let me start by saying, Dr. Wilson, welcome to my world. You're not the only one who gets stressed. As a newspaper reporter, I get to do it. So welcome to that. But just be strong and continue moving on, knowing that you're doing the right thing. Secondly, let me also state, as I am the one who continued to write these stories for the newspaper, or at least for my newspaper, it's become clear to me that the issue is not just about the producers not feeling they have a voice with the board, or even the general manager, wherever he or she may be at the time. But it's also about resources, and if they feel whether or not they believe they will get those resources needed. Mother Moore, I applaud your effort as always, because I'm thinking of the last month's board meeting and some other things you said as I'm trying to remember those. But let me simply say and move on by saying I don't understand the issue of residency, address residency, with the vice chair, because he has been reelected, and I'm wondering, as I know Robert's Rules of Order, if there was a question about his residency before his reelection, that should have been brought up then. It makes no sense to go through it now. But I just happen to know and believe that the issue deals with personality, with present board members, as well as what the staff entails at the moment, and who the staff is at the moment. So I'm just saying that to say also, hopefully, as the previous speaker have said, previous speakers have said, we can overcome the personality issues and get back to the business of being People TV, as I have been here at the inception of People TV since Maynard Jackson in 1978. It is going on being a 40-year operation, and believe you me, we got through it then. It might be tougher now to get through it, but it can still be accomplished. And hopefully we can stop playing games and get about the business, be about the business of bringing productive and positive programming for the citizens of Atlanta.
Ron Sharkey, producer of People TV, Interviews and Perspectives. I have to agree with a lot of what everyone has said, but I want to make it very clear that I do see progress. I want to make it very clear that I do believe that we have the capacity to make things right. And I overly agree to the point that too much is personal, and we can't rise above that. When I hear reports, excuse me, let me put that there. Let me keep on my notes right here so I can get out of there quick. Board practice. I would like us to remember pretty much what was stated before me, the history of People TV, the idea that was one person running this here public access at one time, and it was almost no participation in board meetings. And it's not just something unique to People TV, but all over the city. The question is, why don't boards function in the city of Atlanta? But still, I want us to realize that it's not no one person who runs People TV. It should not be. From my understanding, there's a time limit on board participation. What is that? We can do better. We have a time limit. What is that time limit? I don't think that nobody's meant to stay in a position forever. People come and go in People TV. From the ones who've been hired here and the ones that volunteered or been appointed here. And they need to realize that. I agree with Dr. Wilson. The top down is problematic. But we have a problem with the bottom up. It's how we treat each other. How we respect each other with disrespect. I would hope that we look at the fact, because I know there's people on this board love public access, love People TV. But I realize that when we have attendance like we have here now, these are great people in this room who love People TV and have done a good job. Johnny Nutson is one of them. Johnny Sheriff, one of them. James, one of them. They're in that boardroom. JC, a lot of people. Even Mike has great contributions. However, there's personality clashes for real. But ain't nobody meant to stay here forever. I've seen board members and people who work for People TV come and go and still work for People TV. So we ain't got to hold on to this here position that we have. I've seen positions of people who's on the board now that I wish was here today, but they walked away. There was people here just a couple of days ago, and now they decided to walk away. It was people here that's trying to get back here. You understand? There was problems. So let's work through these problems. But I would like to get some report on what is the time limit for people being on the board. And let's realize we don't have to stay here forever. And I think that's my time. And in the spirit of how things are moving, that I would hope that we could continue to sign up for these committees, because we all have to get involved and make a difference. And those who walk away, I invite them back. I know some people like Adrian Coleman who do not get notification about board meetings. What's wrong with that? Ms. Coleman can't get a notification about a meeting? And in fact, I would like to hear comments on financial matters. I would like to get a comment from the board. If it's not, I would hope that they open it up to the floor about commenting. I understand that people have been hired. If people have been hired, I'd like to know to what extent have there been money from the city that's been awarded to People TV. And then I want to thank those who have been and decided not to leave and stay here. And I want to make sure that the people in this room don't give up on People TV, because People TV don't belong to no one person in here. Thank you.
Brother Kelvin Madden.
No, I just signed in. I didn't check the state.
All right. I see it. Myra.
Okay.
Is that Brother James?
That's me.
Yes. What's your last name, brother?
It's spelled W-E-S-T-A-W-A-Y, and it sounds just like it's spelled. Dr. Wilson, thank you very much, and board members, thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate you taking the time to hear the comments, not just mine only, but everybody's. And Dr. Wilson, I think that you gave a lot of good reasons, a lot of solid reasons for optimism for this organization. I've heard some nice things and some uplifting ideas that you have, and I think that that's well directed. In that same spirit, I also hear you say that the organization needs to settle certain matters and take care of some old business that may need to be addressed so that you can move forward properly in the right spirit. To that degree, as a former employee of this organization, I have a pending matter with People TV. It's been pending for over a year, and tonight I'm here just to ask the board if we could maybe adjourn to executive session, talk about this issue, give it the privacy that it deserves and the sensitivity that it deserves, so that we can all move past that impasse. I would really appreciate that opportunity, and I'd like to put this issue to bed as soon as possible. Thank you for your consideration.
You've been on my mind.
I think that's Brother John.
You've been on my mind.
Likewise, Doc.
Oh, sir.
You say your last name Sharaf?
Sure, yes.
Sure.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
I don't know where to start. In terms of notification of the meeting, I wrote to Dr. Wilson day before yesterday, asking if there was going to be a meeting this week. I never heard back. If I were to sign up on a committee, would I hear back? You say something, you all say something, and don't complete the thought. Here's the point. Here's the agenda. In attendance, Calvin, Olatunji, Mother Maybe, Dr. Johnny Wilson. That's 4 people. The bylaws require 5 people for any action. You pretended when Calvin walked in there was 5 people. Now I noticed when you took the vote that Patricia didn't vote. I don't see Patricia's name on the board. Patricia, are you on the board? Excuse me.
She's not on the board.
She is not on the board. She's sitting at the table with the board. There's 4 board members here. You understand. There's no quorum. How can you elected Oscar last week, the greatest guy ever. Where is he? He would be your quorum. It's incumbent on you, Dr. Wilson, as the chair, if you're going to have a meeting, to call Oscar and to say, are you going to be here tonight? And to make a quorum. It doesn't fall out of the sky. That's the simplest job of the chair of People TV, is to make sure you have a quorum so you can do some business, because Lord knows there's a lot of business that needs to be done here. Now, let me get to this. Terry and I have had our problems in the past, right, Terry?
That's right.
Up and down. But we're brothers, right?
Oh, yes, we are.
We're producers, we're
We are
filmmakers,
producers.
we're fellow travelers, are we not? We are fellow travelers. And I stand here tonight. I can't believe the way you treat Terry. Do each of you have to provide a utility bill in addition to your license to sit on the board? When he pro-showed that license tonight, Mother-in-law, why is he not eligible to take a seat up there and to make your quorum? Calvin, am I out of line here? I don't think so either. And look, you have a community of people who want to play this game, who want to do it. But everything this board does is push people away. I'm sure I've used my 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Good night, and God bless.
Thank you, Sheriff. Let's go.
My name is Oriel Javon. I've been a producer for People TV for 23 years. I stepped aside about 5 years ago because there was a dissension. And I recently returned from different cities throughout the country and doing some things on the internet. Las Vegas, Detroit, Little Rock, they seem that they don't even have a public access. So what's here in Atlanta is unique.
That's right.
And it's unique in the fact that that's one of the reasons I'm here tonight.
All right.
I am in the process of reconnecting my television show back to Atlanta based upon my audiences in other cities. And I still hear a lot of crying. There are individuals that was crying 5 years ago when I left. And there are individuals that I hear tonight that are crying. And cries are good because cries gives us a chance to take a look at what's really hurting. So People TV is hurting, has been hurting, but it has always survived, and people have and are making it work.
This guy makes more sense than any of you guys.
So the key is for us to be able to see and hear the cries of our fellow man, to be able to address that. And I think Dr. Wilson has really come to a point in this conversation to open it up as I have never seen it before. Meaning there are committees that will be able to address issues, and it's given really each individual their own responsibility to take their thoughts, their process, and put it to action versus blaming others. And we can do that all day. We have done that, and it can be done. But the bottom line is, personally, I'm coming back.
All right.
And when I do come, I'm offering other individuals the opportunity to put aside a whole. I did public access for 23 years and didn't get paid nothing. Not one penny. I did it when it was real to real. Took it from digital. Went to 2 colleges to learn the technology. The availability to make money ain't just in People TV. We have the ability to take People TV to the next level with our own personal experiences. And that's my invitation to each individual in this room to personally sacrifice the comfort for people that is looking and needs that voice.
That's right. That's right.
Tonight. Okay, of course, we want to thank all of you who shared your voice and concern over this very serious issue of continuing public access to People TV. When I came on board, the whole issue of People TV not being available was the issue that brought me on board to try to help save public access in this day and age. Since that time, we have been going through a transition. I've heard about the history in the past, and I'm actively a part of a process right now trying to move forward. This transition is not easy. It indeed has been difficult. However, I believe that people who have stepped up are genuine in their efforts to move us to a better place. I want to just speak very shortly on the possible collaboration with Black on Purpose TV. I know this gentleman, we've had conversations in the past. I think this will definitely move us forward in addition to all those things that we have already brought to the table. Many of the concerns that folks had about the direction, the policies and procedures, we are actively involved in addressing those particular issues. As a trained social worker, I like to at least share a perspective that when you talk about public access, allowing the gatekeepers, the voice and heart of the community to be actively involved in a process that serves the community, oftentimes you will bring people to the table who may not have all of the necessary expertise. And that is why it is required that training is involved, especially as it relates to policies and procedures and how do you get things done. I think very clearly we are moving down that road, and we are actively involved in providing policy and procedural training. As you bring on new board members, there's a shift in board members ever since I've been on the board. And from what I'm hearing, ever since public TV has been here, there's been a shift in people coming and leaving on the board, so you never really have one consistent body that you're always working with. So that necessitates transition and training. I see two different groups of people that will come to the aid of public access and community service. One that actively involved in the process of maintaining and providing the service to the community, and then the other who tend to want to just stand back and criticize all of the efforts of those who are actively involved. I would love to see those who are so critical on the other side of the table in terms of being actively involved in the process to provide the services that we all agree that need to be provided. However, we are still moving forward. We are committed to the process, however it may go. We want to hear from you. We want to actively integrate the things that you have said into our decision-making process so that we can move to a better place. So we thank you for your comments. The criticism will not deter us. We are committed to moving forward with your support.
Thank you, sir.
One question. On behalf of the Concerned Black Clergy, of which I am with the Education Committee and the People's Agenda, Joseph E. Lowry with Helen Rutledge, as well as Morristown College and the AU Center, I would say that protocol, transparency makes a difference.
That's right.
Clandestine actions, unethical maneuvers must be brought out to the light and ended. All I said was clandestine, unethical meetings that cannot produce agendas must be brought to the light and surface. And you cannot just walk in because that's your friend. You must serve the community. That's why I mentioned concerning black clergy, education community. That's why I mentioned People's Agenda with Helen Butler and Joseph B. Lyle. I serve with Brother Olatunji in the community. This is not something you just come to set forth your agenda. You serve the community. As a people, we need our voices.
That's right.
CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, they're not going to give us our authentic voices.
Right.
As a PhD student and a 20-year veteran classroom teacher with 6th through 12th grade, I say it's always, as my mentor, Dr. Walter Palmer, would say, a continuous, ongoing process. But at the same time, you must be ethical, and you must, as a AU brother say, do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Let me thank everybody for coming out
Thank
tonight,
you.
and I would say trip up. I need a motion to adjourn.
You don't have a quorum, you don't need a motion.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
The walk up there during the 90s and 80s with our love and I don't know what you see all over the South. That's one reason why the first thing to sunlight
Well, somebody said it would be easy. When you take on the people's work, prepare yourself for there's light.
I'm mad because it's on.
We'll get to the
I'm mad because the recall on. What they did, Jojo?
No, it was a first. We got it.
Kevin, good to see you, baby. Yes.
For your comments, brother.